What's up, traders? Zach here from the Trading Network. I hope you guys are doing well. I am back with another weekly market profile forecast for both the ES and NQ futures markets. If you guys are new to the channel since our last forecast video, what we do in this video series is we discuss weekly analysis, session profile analysis, as well as a bit of weekly candlestick chart analysis that will give you guys, by the end of this video, great levels to at the very least pay attention to, but more likely base trades off of, risk off of, and use as major inflection points moving forward into the coming week. So without any further delay, let's dive into the NQ session profile first and foremost, and we will get things going. Alrighty, so what we have here is the NQ session profile. The pink profiles, once again, for those new to the market profile in general or those new to our channel, pink profile represents the New York session, which is 9:30 a.m. Eastern time to 5 p.m. Eastern time. And the blue sessions represent everything in between. I refer to that as the overnight session. You might have heard this also referred to as the ETH session or the extended trading hour session. Basically, the blue profile is anything that does not take place inside of New York session. So what I will be looking for moving forward into this week, and typically what I'm looking for on Sunday evenings, Monday mornings, is the reaction to the prior sessions profile. And that is the prior New York sessions profile. And this is Friday's New York session right here. So we had a low of 15,825, a high of 15,940, and I will be looking to reaction or be looking at reaction to these levels from Friday. So generally speaking, if we do not get accepted and hold above 15,850, I will look for a move down to 15,825. And if that doesn't hold, very likely lower into 15.8K, as that is, or those are the most relevant and recent levels that I will be paying attention to. Now, I want to make this clear. If you guys are using our daily market profile trade plans, we do this same type of analysis on Monday morning, roughly 30 to 45 minutes before the market opens. So I will sit down at the charts, or Alex will sit down at the charts if he's making the trade plan, which he usually does, and we will try to determine what is our most recent relevant level to current price action, 30, 45 minutes before open. And that most days will be our line in the sand level. So for those of you guys who have been using our trade plans, there is a massive suggestion right there and a good tip, if you will, to understand how we are creating our trade plans and choosing our line in the sand levels on a daily basis. It really is that simple. So what I'm going to be looking for is where we are opening or what levels we are opening closest to tomorrow morning. For example, if we open up here 15,900-ish, then I'll be looking for this to act as a line in the sand level. And if we can move and hold above this, then I'll look for moves here, 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 etc. Right? So generally speaking, we want to look at reaction to Friday's high and low. If you want to keep it very simple, if you want to get a little bit more detailed or nuanced, you can watch the value area high and low. Value area high from Friday is 15,915. Value low from Friday is 15,850. And the point of control, the price where the most transactions or the most trading activity took place on Friday, is 15,875. So those are very key levels that you can once again, at the very least, mark off and pay attention to give you a guide moving through tomorrow's New York session. So if you are using these levels on, a larger scale or just want to keep things really simple, watch for reaction to Friday's high at 940 and Friday's low at 15,825. And if we move above this, look for, move down to lower levels. If we move and hold above this, look for move up to higher levels. That, I'd say, is probably the simplest way to handle things. But with that said, let's hop on over to the NQ weekly profile, and we'll discuss some key levels and areas that I'm looking at on a larger time frame here. All right, my friends. So here we have the NQ weekly profile. Very similar situation, except each one of these profiles represents 1 week or 5 days of regular trading hours price action. So that is why you will see gaps in my weekly profiles, is because it's just RTH information, and that is how I like it. Different strokes for different folks, of course, but this is what has worked very, very well as a guide for me for at least the last 3-4 years using the market profile. So one thing that I want to point out here is we're currently trading at 15,862. The monthly volume composite point of control, that means this is the price right here where the most volume was traded in the entire month, is exactly where we are trading at right now. And you can see last week's point of control, the entire week's point of control, is also Friday's POC at 875. So that 15,875 level, very, very important area that I would highly suggest paying attention to. Once again, if we can move and hold above that, I would look for, an 80 to 100 point move up to last week's value area high at 15,955. And, on the flip side, if we can't move and hold above 15,875, I'd be looking for a move back down to last week's value low at 15,805, which lines up pretty closely with Friday's low and Thursday's low. So there's a lot of good confluence there. So keeping it very simple, you can use 15,875 as a line in the sand level for a weekly market profile or for, weekly structure. And keeping it simple, I might just say something like I will look for longs above 875 to higher levels and shorts below 875 to lower levels, as long as we see clear, confirmed acceptance above or rejection below. Now, one thing I will say is if we break 805, we have a pretty significant gap. This isn't a real gap, but I want to make it clear that there is a liquidity void basically below 15.8K that could be, upwards of 200 points. You can see the monthly volume composite right here, the volume profile. I mean, there is absolutely no structure right here. So I would be very, very cautious if we break below, 15,770, especially. I would look for, some pretty significant further downside. Take it with a grain of salt, take it one level at a time, of course, but that would be, how I'm viewing things currently. So with that said, let's get on over to the ES session profile and we will get some S&P analysis in the books. Okay, so when it comes to ES, very, very similar situation here, keeping it very simple. Watch Friday's high at 45.34, watch Friday's low at 45.12. Acceptance above very likely gets us a move to 45.40 and higher, which we have not visited in quite some time. So I would look for pretty substantial moves to the upside, as we basically have a similar liquidity void to the upside as we were just looking at to the downside on NQ, which I will show you guys once again on the ES weekly profile. But I mean, you can very clearly see, look at this range, right? Really tight, above 45.40. Very likely some strong upside. Below 4,500, I would at least look for moves to 44.90, 44.80-ish, and then same thing, big liquidity void here, single prints, even from the overnight all the way down to basically 44.35. So if we break 44.80 to the downside, same thing, look for some pretty significant downside pressure, or that's what I will be cautious for at the very least. And, moving above 45.40, same thing on the upside. So it's really going to be which side does this range break? Does it hold? Do we get acceptance above? Do we move below? Stop a bunch of late shorts out and then move back up. Most important thing is we got to stay flexible and just allow price to tell us what to do. That is number one. So let's look at the ES weekly profile real quick, and I will get you guys out of here with some good levels to pay attention to in the coming week. Okay, so let's get into some ES weekly analysis. It's going to be very similar to what we were just talking about on NQ. We are also on ES trading right at the monthly volume point of control. This price right here, 45.20, is where the most volume has been done the entire month, and that is only 8 points above where the most time was spent the entirety of last week, the TPO point of control at 45.12. So we could draw a zone here basically between 45.12 and 45.20 and use that as a very important inflection area. Break below 45.12 and a rejection from that area very likely gets us to move to 44.80, and move and hold above 45.20, very likely gets us a move to 45.40 and above if we do get acceptance above that level. So keep it very, very simple. Of course, just like I was mentioning on NQ, break below 44.80 opens up about a 50-point move down to 44.35-ish. So that is something to be cautious and aware of. But don't get stuck to any one idea. As I always say, you have to let the market tell you what to do. We cannot impose our analysis or our view, no matter how high probability it might be. We have to allow the market to tell us what to do. The market does not owe us anything. And we must remind ourselves of that on a daily basis. So with that said, let's get into the weekly candlestick charts very briefly, and then we will wrap things up. Okay, so lastly, we're just going to quickly dig into some weekly candlestick charts. I'm going to show you guys what I'm thinking here. We have a pretty amazing setup, if I do say so myself. We have a bounce in the weekly opportunity zone, which is the space between the 21 and the 50 exponential moving averages. We've got the oscillators curling and crossing up. We've got BBWP showing a contraction and a likely expansion in volatility with a local low confirmed on the weekly and then follow through on that weekly candlestick. So this is something that I've been talking about for a very long time. Yes, it is very likely to take a long time to play out, but this weekly bull flag is still intact with a measured move, as crazy as it sounds, up towards 20,000. So I will be looking for, most importantly, these prior highs up here from July to break at 16,260. If that breaks, I think we're likely, of course, to get a test of 16,420. That's a great number. And then we might be making a run for some all-time highs sooner than later. But this is a very important first order of business that we must work through to see further upside continuation. Could we maintain this range for an extended period of time? Absolutely. And that's something that we need to be cautious of. But I want to talk about, all scenarios here. So things are looking pretty bullish. That's probably going without saying. But, don't overcomplicate things. If price is in an uptrend, which it appears to be restarting or recreating a weekly uptrend, especially if we can break above, 16.2K, then keep it simple. Trend is your friend till the end of the trend. So that is what I'm going to be looking at for NQ. I'll flip over to ES as well. You guys can see very similar situation here. We've got the local low confirmed with the strong bullish candlestick structure on the follow through. We have the stochastics curling and crossing up. We've got the PMARP curling and crossing the signal line to the upside. And we already had a volatility expansion on the BBWP. So for me, I am leaning a bit more towards the upside, but once again, one day at a time, one level at a time, and we are intraday traders when it comes down to it. So the weekly candlestick charts, are they helpful? Absolutely, but that's not where I'm making my day-to-day decisions. So I just wanted to, give you guys this information so you can have good levels to look at, and at the very least, my analysis of what I will be paying attention to in the coming week. And I think that I will leave you guys at that. So if you do find value in this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and click that bell notification to be notified every single time we post videos here on the channel. If you guys want to learn more about what we do here at The Trading Network, check out our website, thetradingnetwork.io, where you can purchase access to our most popular offering, the TTN Pro Trader Bundle, which includes lifetime access to our proprietary indicator package, lifetime access to our Fundamentals of Futures Trading course, and of course, lifetime access to our private Discord community, where we live stream our trading Monday through Friday starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I also offer one-on-one mentorship if you are looking for a more catered and tailored one-on-one experience to your specific strengths and weaknesses as a trader. And if you guys have any questions about anything that I've mentioned in this video, do not hesitate to shoot us an email at info@thetradingnetwork.io or shoot us a DM on Instagram, and we will get back to you guys as soon as we possibly can and help any way we can as well. Thank you guys, as always, for taking the time to watch this content. I appreciate you very much, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.